over the weekend, I walked my dog. I took him for like a little road trip, right? Like an hour drive, found some trails. It was nice and sunny. And while on the drive and on the walk, I was listening to Diamond Morning start to finish. And it was hitting so much harder. Something about the like sunlight. It was just finally a sunny day. And I felt like at the end of it, like relaxed and peaceful. And
Yeah.
so my question to you guys is like when people finish listening to Diamond Morning front to back for like the first time, what's the one feeling or realization that you hope lingers with them afterwards?
Ooh. That's a good
But
one.
I thought I'd start with a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I would say that to me, my version of that answer would be more kind of, it's not really important what they feel. It's just that they feel emotionally activated. Is how I would put it. That the music helps them to get in touch with whatever's going on. Like if you're happy or sad, or if you're going through something or whatever, that it kind of activates you. I think in the end, that's what I like about like what good music does to me. That it enhances and activates or soothes or it does things with you. That's kind of out of your control almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of you can't control what it does to you, but it's an experience really. What do you think, Jonas? What like?
Yeah, no, I think you're quite spot on. Like, if we can make people feel anything, it's like, I think we've done a good job. So, and it feels like people feel a lot of things when they hear the album, which I'm super happy about. But also, I want them to feel that they heard something that maybe they never heard before as well. That feels important to me too. That it's like we're bringing something new to the table, because that means a lot to me. That's to be able to do that. But other than that, I think I totally agree with you, Vigo.
I agree with both of you guys. Whether it's like something new, but also soothing, which is weird because like when I listen to metal, I don't really get soothing. It's like a feeling when listening to this, and maybe like with your music too, there's something really patient about it because like I feel like a lot of modern bands in the metal space do like they chase like big moments. They want like something that sounds big and climactic, where yours seems like it's more patient and layered. Was restraint something like intentional with your songwriting to like maybe let that negative space be kind of let it breathe, you know?
I think it's mostly that in order to make a really big impact at a certain section in a song, you have to have like the opposite of that prior to it, because otherwise it's just going to be like I don't know, too saturated, I guess. So I'm not sure if there's like an intention in like per se in that way, but it's just like, I don't know, the way we write songs, like we want to play with dynamics, and we want to like really make a section really stand out and really have a hard impact. So that requires then that we build up to it, you know. And maybe it's something along those lines.
Yeah, and I feel like to add to that, I think that we also think that really soft parts can have a tremendous impact too, which I think is not really experimented that much in metal, but I think that there are some sections of the record where we kind of go into something that's very soft all of a sudden, or where we could take it up a notch, but we take it down a notch, and it almost gives you an impact too. It's like going in a fast car that suddenly stops or something. That's a big impact too, to kind of slow it down. So I think that it's very there's just so many things to play around with that can be interesting when it comes to getting that impact. It doesn't always have to be the thing that you expect, or like the method that you expect.
Yeah.
I think that it almost has less impact when you're listening to these standard like metalcore songs and you're like, oh, I understand exactly what's going to happen now, so how hard you try, like it's not going to be, even if the riff is really good, I'm anticipating it, and I anticipate like a so it's so even if you're an amazing vocalist, you're not gonna, it's gonna be hard to kind of get your, I don't know. So I feel like playing around with those things can really make it interesting too.
I feel like I get that impression through like all the interludes too, which like it's weird because like I love the album start to finish, but some of my favorite songs are actually like the interludes.
Oh, really?
Part of me is like, oh, I wish they were longer. Like, well, sorry, I got it confused a little bit, but Ruby is the one with like the wah pedal on clean, right?
Yeah.
And then Sapphire's the jazzy one.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that you focus on something that feels a little bit more mellow. I think Steve OG calls it spa metal. You guys, I think that's such a good.
Oh my
I
god!
think that's, dude. I think it's perfect. Like, also, like, you guys do so many things that are just different from the general scene. Like, even the album art. Was it intentional? Like, what was the idea to have 4 of you guys as the album art on the hill? Because it seems like it's so natural, but I also want to know like the thought process and why you kind of made that your album art.
Yeah, I mean, we took that shot while we were recording the music, the visualizer things, and the music videos and stuff. And then we had like a bunch of options to choose from, and we had like one. We wanted to make it like different too, like compared to what you're used to seeing in the metal scene. One option we had was like a painting that Viggo did. It's like a really naive kind of painting that you drew with your kids at school.
I have it right here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, is that a painting behind you that you did too?
No, I'm not that good. Like, no. But I can take it down and show you guys. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, do it.
But because we really, we wanted to do, well, so I have for a couple of years I've been doing like a part-time job at a school where I help out kids and stuff. And it's not, well, at the point in time when I did this drawing, I was working with like small, like they were like 7-8-year-olds. But now I work more in a high school format. But I think that coming back to the album artwork, I think that it's kind of, metal has such a kind of niche expression that it's kind of easy to poke holes in it almost. So we discussed the drawing that I did, and I think we probably discussed, you did some passes too, Jonas, with different stuff with like with a bird or something.
Yeah, I did one which was more similar to like the previous album artwork we had. Like, think of it as a continuation of those artwork. But then ultimately we settled with this because it felt classic almost. It felt like an old like 70s rock cover almost.
I say this as a compliment, but it kind of reminds me of like Weezer or something.
I love that reference. It's definitely I love that because it's so it's so nice to combine the way we sound and like being a modern metal band with that kind of aesthetic. So it's just an experimentation basically of
and I felt like everything aligned with like us taking those pictures and it being pretty cool, and it's a rainbow if you look really closely, and we didn't add that. It was like we looked at those pictures, we were like, Jesus Christ, there's a real rainbow on that picture. It's too good to be true. Like, how can it be that there was an actual rainbow when we took that shot? So yeah, but I think that we also want to like pay, how do you say, like you pay homage?
Tribute or
pay tribute to like the old rock stuff that we loved, like back in the 60s and 70s. Like the rock band standard was, it's a band picture. That's the cover, like there's no questions asked. It's just the band picture. So, but anyway, this is let's see if you can, at one point in time, this was considered, like we were looking at this and be like, what can we do with it? Like, can we do something with this?
There's still something with like the angles, at least, because like with the hill too, there's something very like directional.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that was never something that, like, I didn't draw this as an actual pitch. It was more that I just found a bunch of drawings that I had and I put them up on my wall, and then at one point when we had like a writing session, Jonas was here was like, "What's this?" And he was like, "Maybe this could be artwork." And I was like, "Ha ha ha." And he was like, "No," and I was like, really?
I'm serious.
Yeah, but I'm kind of glad that it didn't end up because we did try it, but it's a lot. It's I'm super happy with what we have now.
Yeah.
So.
I remember when initially you guys released the information about the album art and everything. I remember in my Discord people just like talking about it and just feeling like a little bit like confused. But I also just think that's a good thing. I really think like art, whether you like it or not, like if people are discussing whether they like it or not and it has a lot of discourse, I think that makes for good art. So the fact that people are trying to figure out, like, it's kind of weird to have them 4 on there and other people are like, oh, I like it. I'm like, well, the reason why people are talking about it is because it's not like your standard metalcore or like even prog metal stuff. It's not like some, tree in the middle of some grass, even though I feel like you guys would do a cool job with that too. But yeah. I love the artwork, man. I love even like the visuals. Everything that you guys do in terms of your whole package, I feel like is setting yourself apart from like so much of the other stuff in the scene because so many bands, they do like a lot of lyric videos, right, with like the simple kind of text that pops up. But you guys, it feels like it was recorded on a VHS, and it feels very nostalgic and old school. I'm wondering who's like the mastermind or how collaborative it is with the visuals and who's coming up with these ideas and the scenery and who's doing like the visual component to the band so much.
Yeah, I think it's like there are several people involved. Like for Ancient Skills, I made those videos like because I had this old Super 8 camera, so it's like analog footage.
Okay.
So I made that, and then that was sort of. I thought it was kind of cool to have like this. I thought it was a fitting thing with like old analog vibe to our general aesthetics. And then like coming to the Diamond Morning release, we wanted to sort of further develop that, and we worked with these 2 brothers called David and Dennis, who are like really great filmmakers, and we sort of took that idea further and they did like this 16 millimeter kind of look to the visualizers that we did, and we sort of collaborated with them to sort of come up with cool shoots and and cinematic sort of scenes to complement the different songs. So it's and also been looping in my girlfriend also a little bit because she's like an artist herself, so she's been sort of helping out as well with aesthetics and stuff. So it's been like a collaboration between us and of course the band as well, like pitching in, having ideas and just steering the general vibe in a certain direction.
Yeah, but I think like the original kind of idea and visual, like I think it's a lot from you, Jonas, who kind of visualize how it could be and the look and everything. I think the original kind of I don't know what word really to choose, but like how you visualize it to be in the beginning, I think. And then I think everybody else was kind of just like keen to jump on that kind of train of thought and see how we can realize it and maybe expand it further. But I think that you were the one who kind of have been leading the visual process for the band, like pretty much.
Yeah, maybe it's true. Like because it also comes from like an interest of mine. Like I used to be like super into analog photography, and I had like a period in my life where I did like some analog photography, and I love looking at like there are some really cool Super 8 videos on YouTube where people have done like really artistic stuff with it, because usually you associate Super 8 footage with like, I don't know, old family videos or like old vacation videos, and it's like super shaky camera and everything's like a mess. But then I've seen some people doing like artistic videos with the Super 8 vibe, and I really love that, so I wanted to incorporate that into our band because I think it would be a good fit.
I was going to ask if it was like if you have any influences from like filmmakers, but it seems like it's more like photography is where the visual component is.
Yeah.
Is it film as well though? Like I feel like I'm trying to think like There's like a certain like A24 film. Like I know it's a creepy movie, but like Midsummer vibes a little bit with that grainy look a little bit, and then like the summer. But even like Talented Mr. Ripley, if you know that movie, I just beautiful like Europe shots. Like I don't know if there was inspiration from film or if it's just all photography.
I mean, I can only speak for myself. I'm not a big film guy. Like I don't watch too much film.
Okay.
So it's then I think you're right in that it was mostly like photography and like cinematic settings and stuff like that. There was this thing like 10 years ago, something called cinemagraphs that was popular. It was like you have a still image, but then something in the image is moving a little bit. So it's like a living still picture almost. And so that was also like a reference for the visualizer.
I think I remember those. And like with the visuals too, like some of those shots look incredible. How much is that actually done in editing, or is that actually like actual footage, raw footage from places in Sweden?
Oh, I guess you'd have to ask the film guys that David done this. I'm not sure how much processing they did and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they did some, but I think that we also, I mean, it was, I must say that I think that it was incredibly thought out. Like we spent a large amount of time on planning, and just like the brothers went and took pre-production shots of all the places at a certain point in time, and like we were considering different shots in Stockholm, and they had me travel and be like, can you stand at this exact spot at 12:05 and have like this app sun tracker and point it to the sun, and we're going to FaceTime, and they wanted to see the position of the sun at certain times. And so it's like very, very thorough, because we want to see how the shadows move like at this point in time, because so it was very thought out. And I think that, when we shot the videos, it was a crazy hectic couple of days, because it was like we're shooting at this mountain 4 a.m. and then we're doing this at like 7 a.m. and then 12 hours later we're shooting. So we were really like up for crazy long hours in the shooting to really get the right look. So I think that the original like unedited shots are really cool too. But I know that they replaced the skies and did stuff like that. They're very, very good with visual effects.
Okay.
And I think that the visual effects that they can do are way beyond what they're doing here, I feel. So they're doing the stuff that they're doing for our videos is kind of a walk in the park for them, I feel.
They did the first Sun video, if you have seen it. We have a music video for our old single,
I
First
know.
Sun.
I want to watch your old stuff, though. I just have a weird job where I can only listen to music that's new in front of the camera. Like, it's just constant.
Yeah.
But like with your, like there's even the video of Lucas like on the by the water, and it's like sunset or sunrise or something. I'm like, these shots are incredible. Like I wonder, it just seemed like such a big important part to your music, and I feel like that doesn't get noticed enough from other bands. Most other bands are like focus on just the audio. They just want to make sure the music's good, have a couple music videos. But I love the fact that you guys have so much visual art to accompany the music. That's what I mean. The whole package of everything just is so beautiful in many ways.
Nice, thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
And one of the things too about the music is that obviously you guys are from Sweden, and I need clarification on this. Is it Karmanjakah or Karmanjakah?
I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter. Like. No, but I think we say it differently. I think every band member says it differently as well. I think.
Oh yeah.
I say Karmanjakah. I think Viggo, you say.
I think I say Karmanjakah.
Yeah.
Karmanjakah. Okay.
Karmanjakah.
But yeah, it's fine if you say Karmanjakah as well, or Karmanjakah.
It just sounds so, I don't know, American, even though I'm Canadian. Karmanjakah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean that's fine. I mean it's not the big deal whether how people pronounce it. I think it's like you can say whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, and well, even the fact that you guys are so well spoken in English too, like it makes me wonder, like, because obviously you guys are from Sweden. There's a lot of Swedish bands that obviously sing in English. There's metalcore bands like Imminence. your counter or your friends that like, you know, or I guess Viljarta does Swedish too, but there's also Refuse. The thing is, I'm wondering how, since English could be your second language, do you lose the connection to the words when you're singing in a different language? Do you wish at times that you were maybe singing in Swedish?
It's a good question. I think we probably do, but I think it's or not necessarily lose anything, but it's just a different voice. Maybe it's like a different. You have to think in a different way, or feel in a different way. It's I don't think you lose anything, but it's just a different path, maybe, of the thoughts that you're having. And in some ways, it could even be creative because, like, my vocabulary in English is a lot more limited, obviously, than in Swedish. So I need to sort of, that restriction sort of feeds me creativity, I think. So when writing lyrics, sometimes it could be good to not have all the words, because then you have to really sort of think about how you're expressing the things that you want to say. But it would be interesting to write in Swedish one day. I mean, I've done other songs in Swedish, like for other projects, so it's not like super unfamiliar to me. But yeah, I'm wondering if it's the right thing for Karmanjakah. I haven't really explored that. We probably need to experiment with that a little bit and see what it feels like.
Why choose English? I know this is probably a general question that applies to a lot of these Swedish bands, but is it just so, you know, obvious there's more listeners that just are familiar with English?
I guess it's like, maybe it's like a childish thought that it's cool, you know?
Yeah.
At least in Sweden, I think, when you were like growing up and like idolizing all these American and Canadian bands as well.
We have some good ones.
Yeah,
there's some good ones.
Yeah. I think you're sort of idolizing that, and then you think that's really cool, and then it's like it gets part of your musical culture or your musical reference, that like you write stuff in English because it's what you sort of grew up listening to, and it makes sense in some way.
Speaking of musical culture, the idea to do hip hop, like, I'm not even sure if this is actually hip hop. Is it? Like, I call it slam poetry. Like, I don't know if that's right, but that seemed like, I haven't listened to the early stuff. I've heard like songs here and there, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's new to Karmanjakah, is to have that hip hop. Did you, like, how influenced are you by, you know, hip hop or poetry, and were you nervous about releasing these songs?
I mean, I think everyone in the band is listening a lot to hip hop and have been doing that like for our entire childhood and adulthood. Like it's been like super present in our musicality. I used to be a rapper like prior to Karmanjakah, so that's why I sort of even took on doing that, you know, for Karmanjakah, because I felt like this is a way that I express myself, and it made sense for these particular parts. Like it was the only thing that made sense to us to have like this. Yeah, this should be a rap part. But also like I'm very, because we're super cautious about that, because it also can go really wrong. Like it's we know some examples where metal bands have been incorporating hip hop into the music in a way that we really dislike. So we kind of hate it too, to have rap and metal. But no, not really. But like we thought that this was like purely from a musical perspective. This was the only thing that made sense in these parts, and it's like very natural for me to express myself in that way. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we were that nervous about it though.
No.
Or maybe some were.
I was a bit nervous.
Yeah. Maybe, but I felt like we were kind of doing. I felt that I was proud to kind of be finding new ways to push the boundaries of just kind of open up, expand the whole bubble of what could be on a metal album, and how you can do it in a way where I'm so happy that, because it's kind of like with other members too, that I've experimented with like other instruments, and I've played, you know, some folk music instruments, and our drummer comes from a jazz background, and our like bass player has been into like classical music and like old school classic rock. And it's kind of, when we recruited these members back in the day, it was like, oh shit, our drummer loves jazz. Like, can we incorporate that? Like, maybe that's cool. We like jazz too. What could we do with it? And I felt like it was a natural process that Jonas has a background in rap music. That it was kind of, if that's a way that it's like, for me, that's like the difference of me playing distorted 7-string guitars and then picking up an acoustic guitar. It's part of what I do when I walk around at home. Like, and I think that that's also part of Jonas's background. So it was really cool to kind of incorporate that in a way that's not, where we're not, it's not like we sat down and be like, let's write a rap song. How can we get rap into our songs? It was more like, that would be cool to have. And we've had that discussion for like 10 years. Or like at least 5 years, that like when it happens, it's going to be awesome. So I was so stoked when me and Jonas were writing the parts, and he was like, maybe like the thing that makes most sense here is actually rap. And I was like, here we go. That was like, finally it's happening. So I'm so happy that it's on there. And that doesn't mean that I don't think that our workflow or like how we visualize the journey is like that we think, okay, so now we're doing rap. That's not the thing. It's more about like what works. It's same thing with like me being into certain styles of death metal and be like, I gotta get some blast beats on this record. And then like trying to incorporate that into the world of what we do. And I'm happy we could do that with many different styles, I think, on this record.
It's funny because like, so many of these subgenres that you mentioned, like whether it was like it's the folk, the jazz, the classic rock, classic prog stuff, you hear it all in your music. And the thing that I always like say in a lot of my reviews when I'm listening to you guys is that Karmanjakah sounds like Karmanjakah. Like it's so like it's hard to describe exactly your music. Like to me, the Contortionists, like I get a little bit contortionist feeling listening to your music, but they haven't released music in like friggin' 8 years, right? But like I can go to other bands now and be like, oh, that sounds like Karmanjakah.
Nice.
Because like it has such a unique sound, but I think it's because you're pulling in so many cool influences. Is there some styles or subgenres that you would like to explore more and maybe it didn't fit on this record? Like you said, Viggo, like some folk or something that you like. I know there's a lot of acoustic stuff, but is there like more that you wanted to do in the future?
Yes, but are we willing to give it away, Jonas? That's the question.
True,
are we willing to give away? Because we have several things that I'm thinking about now that we are currently actually trying.
But it's the same thing there. It's not like we're sitting down and be like, hey, let's do a bagpipe song or like whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But like no, but it's more like we write something that stems from whatever we're sort of influenced by right now, and that could be a pop song, it could be a rap song, it could be a whatever song. So I think it's more like it's whatever comes up naturally and that gets translated into the song, and then it just happens to be influenced by a particular subgenre. So it's not very, I don't think it's planned out in that way. It's not really thought out in that way. It's more natural occurrence.
Yeah, and I think that another thing that I think about a lot is like with bands, I think that like artists that we love, or specifically other bands that we love, I think usually are the bands that have so much personality in there. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's when we have like younger or newer bands contact us and send us, can you listen to our demos? Or when we hear bands that we're not really big fans of, I think that the problem is not usually that, everybody can write riffs, or everybody can have good mixes, or everybody can write, okay melodies or choruses or whatever. I think that one thing that I think music that doesn't excite me lacks is usually personality. So, and I think that comes back to the whole discussion of like that Karmanjakah sounds like Karmanjakah. I think that the reason is because we try to really incorporate the personality of the members into the band. Like, And that comes from like smaller decisions, like let's make sure we track real drums. And that's not because tracking real drums is more legit than using program drums, or that it's better, or that it's cooler. It's more like we have a drummer who loves to play drums, and he's been playing for a long time, and he loves to pick certain cymbals, and he loves to tune his drums a certain way, and he spent years practicing different styles, and it's so much personality into his playing. So we're trying to make him do your thing, do your fills. Like, how do you want to play this part? This is our idea. Like, use your cymbals, use your drum kits. And the same thing with the bass player, that we're trying to really get these people to do their thing and just bring that personality in there. And then I think that these influences from different genres just like end up on the record rather than being forced into it. It's more like, if it's natural to them to do a jazzer thing because that's what he's been training to do, then go ahead. And that's what I think, you know, without to kind of go off on a tangent here, but that's what I think, for instance, using program drums could be a problem for certain bands, is because there's no personality in there.
Yep.
And the reason I think I can use that as an argument is because if someone would ask me, does Vildhjärta's music have personality? Oh my God, like it has so much personality, and a lot of it is programmed. And it's incredible amounts of personality in there. So it's not really about the method. It's like kind of how you put yourself into the music. And I think that's how we end up with all of these different influences, because it's not really about, the focus is not on, it's just about kind of being yourself. Or like, maybe that's cheesy, but like, I think that's what it is. We're just trying to be ourselves with what we like and stuff.
It is cliche, like in a way. It's like, oh, be yourself, like do your own thing. But like, it's so like easier said than done. The amount of times I listen to songs on Twitch, like you know, I live stream every Friday. I listen to 30 songs, and so many of these songs just sound the same. And a lot of newer bands come to me to show me their music, and a lot of the times I say to them, you know, you're with your music, it just like. It sounds like a lot of other stuff that you're influenced by, and so like with all your members, like bring your influences, like whatever you're into, bring that into your music. If you're into anime or something, maybe bring that into your music videos a little bit. Like bring these other influences, so it doesn't just seem like you're trying to be another metalcore band or prog metal band or something. And I think that's what the biggest takeaway that I got from you, Vigo, is just like how you explained how every member here has, you know, the jazz influence, the classical influence, and every member, and then Jonas, you with like the photography and the visuals, and like it's all culminating to something that is Karmanjakah. It's this whole thing that's forming. But if it was just Jonas like taking the lead or something, like I want to do hip hop here and I want the visuals to look like this, then it just wouldn't feel the same. It's just a culmination of all these different influences that makes something new.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a little bit of not a tangent, but a little bit of a ramble compliment. But another thing too about your music, I know that you did in the past, but there's no harsh vocals, there's no screaming or anything. I can just assume it just probably didn't fit. But were there times where maybe you experimented with it and just like, nah?
Yeah, I think to be honest, it's mostly that I'm not too good at it. You know, I can do this. I can do the sound. I can perform the sound, but I can only do it like 5 seconds before I'm like, I have no technique.
Yeah.
You know. So in the end, it was like, I don't know. It didn't come natural after a while, because I tried to learn it and then I was like, it's not my thing, you know. So a few of those things ended up on the songs, like the old songs, but now it just feels like, yeah, sometimes it would be, I feel like it could be a nice element to some of the songs, but I don't know. It would have to be like the only thing that makes sense in a certain section for it to end up on a song now, I feel like. But I mean, I'm not like totally against it. It's just kind of a threshold to pass, you know.
It sounds like everything is just like natural. Whatever you're feeling and wanting to do, you're going to bring into the music. Hence with the hip hop, the rap, That feels natural, and that's why you want to explore that. And speaking of, going back to the rap, actually, I just the two songs, I feel like they could be like the most like vulnerable because there's the most amount of words, you know, in the song. So when I'm going through the lyrics, it seems like the first song is about like it's rejecting the idea of like something artificial, and then also it's like wanting to be more real and yeah, again, less artificial. But then the next hip hop song is feeling like transformative and feeling more spiritual. This is like what I'm gathering just through some of the words, but it made me think about the whole album. Like, what does Diamond Morning even mean? When Diamond Train, Diamond Art, and like, I feel like you probably don't want to explain exactly what it means, leave that for the audience. But I feel like there's like some self-realization and you're transforming. And maybe it's something spiritual. Is this like?
No, yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I couldn't tell you what it's about because I wouldn't know. You know, it's like it's very abstract kind of exploration of like I don't know spirituality and I don't know. It's like when you sometimes when you an artist, they just start painting. They don't know what it's gonna be. So they just paint, and then at the end they end up with something you don't know what it is, but it's like it's a piece of art. I feel like it's kind of the same thing with the lyrics. And sometimes, like sometimes I have a really thought out sort of concept. Like I try to encapsulate a particular theme, or like some of the songs, like the first three songs, the three singles, are kind of like that because they're more like revolving around a theme. But then the rest of the songs are more, especially the rap songs and the Diamond songs. They are more sort of interpretations, like almost impressionist kind of vibe to it. That doesn't really, yeah. I think it encapsulates a feeling, but I could probably not explain what that feeling is. But so yeah.
With Diamond Train, too, that music video is so cool. I feel like you had to like time it out in a certain way when you're walking and when it's with the band. I feel like that probably took some practice before you got it right. And another thing before like that with the video, like I also just the riffs on that song Vigo, the guitar work, and like with most of your music, like the guitar work is insane. But some of those riffs are some of my favorite riffs I've heard all year. They're just ear candy. Between the amazing music video, but then also the amazing riff, like Vigo, like what are some of your like influences? Who are like some guitar players that you look up to? Because it's hard for me to figure out exactly what you're influenced by.
Oh shit! I think that like the guitar players that I really respect is like maybe Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, and like John Frusciante from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and like Larry Lalonde who plays in Primus. He's incredible too. And like I don't know, the Beatles. I mean, they're more like those kind of creative people that I look up to, and like kind of how they interpreted their own genre, I guess. But for Diamond Train, a lot of it is Turkish folk music that I listen to, a lot of Middle Eastern, but it's mostly Turkish folk music with like saz and bağlama players that rip, that are amazing, that nobody knows about, and you go onto YouTube and you hear, you know, and so a lot of those riffs was me listening to those players and be like, this could be a metal song. Like, could you imagine? Like, I would listen to these saz players and be like, this is Thal.
Yeah.
yeah. But so I think that I'm more inspired by, but there are like a lot of guitar players that I love, but I think that I'm more inspired by them as songwriters than what they actually do on the guitar. You know,
yeah.
All my favorite guitar players are really amazing songwriters, I think, in the end.
That makes sense. It's also crazy that it's like a bunch of like 90s bands or even like earlier like Beatles and stuff. There's so much classic rock and classic prog influence, even saying Primus too. Like These are just crazy references. And like, do you play this stuff on these Turkish instruments and then just be like, okay, I got to bring that to my guitar?
Sure. I mean, it could go either way around. It's just kind of me really trying to deeply understand how those players, how they express themselves and what really matters to them, and trying to figure out these small nuances that really makes my playing as legit as possible. And that's more about understanding, okay, how exactly do they pick and how do they perform the drills, and like what chords, or like how do they structure certain runs, because I try to incorporate them as genuine, or like as close to the real thing as possible. But I think that the Diamond Train, the Diamond Train riffage was me and Jonas writing. We were writing together, and we wrote the. Jonas had written the outro to Diamond Morning, which is like a big part with a bunch of modulation. It's super crazy, and then we had this idea of doing a feedback thing that would become louder and louder, and we experimented with that, and then we started doing the piano thing with the rap that comes after. And that's kind of how organic it happens. We were like, yeah, let's record a piano. So we put up mics on a piano, and Jonas recorded the pianos right there. I have this actually, and I filmed it and posted on our Instagram. So like the actual takes that are on the record, we posted those on Instagram, exactly what. So it's kind of funny how organically that happens. And then we added the drums, and the song was just getting longer and longer. And then we came to the Diamond Train part, and we just started to write riffs there. So it kind of just flowed into each other. And we did like a thing we usually do, like we call it fake downs. It's a fake down is a recording, or it's a songwriting technique that we've used for a while. And that's like Jonas programs, usually it's like Jonas programs some sort of drum beat, and then he just presses record, and then I start jamming to it. And then like and then he stops after a while when I've played something good. So the whole da 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 da, that was just like a long section of me maybe playing 2 minutes or something. And then I feel like when I'm playing that, I don't really know what's happening. I'm just going for it. And then like when he paused, I was like, I didn't know what to do. And then he can listen through it and be like, okay, so this is the riff. These 8 bars, that's the riff. And then I think so it was, that's kind of how collaborative that was.
To clarify, you're literally just riffing off these programmed drums, and then you kind of, after some time, you kind of hear something, and then you go back to it, and you just listen to it back and be like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah. And that was just that part, you know. Yeah. But other riffs are. I think that then after that, I played something where I thought that it would be funny to go to a Turkish style riff after that. And I think that was maybe a point when we were like, okay, let's stop here. I'm gonna go home and really figure out what can I do, and like how can I work on that, and then maybe just because I need to sit more and just like plan out the different things and see what works or whatever. So, but it's just I think we really enjoy kind of that aspect of songwriting that it can be so different, you know. And I think that going back to the whole thing that I said about like Red Hot Chili Peppers or like the Beatles or stuff like that, it's like I play in this modern metal thing, but to me it's very stimulating to think about like what would John Frusciante or like the Beatles do if they were a metal band in 2025. And it would probably be something that was very creative or new, and it's more about understanding the mentality of these people, to me at least, and kind of that's what I'm trying to learn from them, like the mentality and the inspiration and how you go about doing the thing, rather than just like looking at another metal player that's active today and be like, let's play like that guy, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That makes so much sense when listening to your music, because again, I'm like, I can't figure out your influences when listening to this. It just sounds so unique. Sure, maybe there's like a little bit of Thal, but to me it doesn't sound like Viljarta. It doesn't sound as bendy or as like eerie, right? And I'm just like, what are these influences? Because I cannot tell, and that's why I think it's so cool that it's not even that you're like influenced by the Beatles or anything. It's more that, like you said, it's the mentality. It's like what they're trying to do back in the day was try to create new sounds or ideas and be organic. Your everything about your music is so natural, and the ebb and flow and everything just seems start to finish. The album is so like beautiful. It's such a nice experience. Like I noticed on your Instagram actually that it says something like progressive music from Sweden, but doesn't say progressive metal. Was that like a deliberate choice too? Because maybe you don't want to be pigeonholed as like a prog metal band, because like you guys don't really sound like Dream Theater.
Yeah, I mean, I think we wrote that sort of description like 2015 or something, maybe 2016 when we just started out. Yeah, and so it's been staying there since then. And I think back then, I think that was maybe kind of deliberate that I think it was me who like, yeah, I want this to be as different. Different from metal as it can possibly be in the way we present ourselves. So I think that was probably, maybe a little bit deliberate back then. But I mean, nowadays I don't have any issues like calling us a metal band. Like it's not. I don't dislike metal in any way, or like I don't want to avoid the metal label or anything like that. It's just. But maybe I was a bit more like, I don't know, juvenilely rebellious or something back then. Wanted to be a little bit edgy, but yeah. But in some ways, it's like still the sort of vision to create something different. The ambition to try to create something unique. That's still there, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe that's
Your first EP was in 2016, right?
Yeah.
And so now with this like progressive music and like how much has evolved, like how do you guys feel about like the current album and like where you're at in a band? Is this some like, I know obviously you're building more of a fan base, but how does it feel? Do you see even bigger future for Karmanjakah now?
Yeah, definitely. We wanna take this to the States, for example.
Yeah. Have you guys been to the States yet?
No, we haven't. It's like it would be so fun to come to, like all over the world, of course. But it's been like going to North America has been like a childhood dream, kind of. And we know that like our biggest fan base is in the U.S., so it would kind of make sense to do it. I hope sooner than later. But we want to make. I mean, in the end, we want to make the music. That's like the most important thing. But of course, we also want to put in the effort to try to make it like our full-time job, or like to make it as like viable as possible. And so that requires that we grow as a band as well. But like just being able to write the music is maybe the most important thing to me, at least. And getting to play it live in front of people, that's also like the main ambition for sure.
It's interesting that like most of your fan base is in the U.S. I was talking. You guys know the band Era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're a prog metalcore band, and like I was talking to them because I'm friends with them, and this was back in like 2023 with the Ancient Skills EP, and I was telling the singer and the bassist like, oh man, you guys got to listen to Karmanjakah. Like you blast them, like you guys bring them over to the States, like as openers, and I think they kind of like forgotten about it a little bit, but they actually messaged me like earlier this year before you guys even released music, and asking me like, "What? I finally checked them out. They're awesome."
Nice.
And like I saw them in person, and like at this point they're listening to your new songs and they're loving it. I think that would be a tour that would make sense too, because it's kind of in a similar vein a little bit. But there's actually, speaking of tours, holy crap, this tour in Europe that I would love to fly over to. There's Humanity's Last Breath, Viljarta, and Enterprise Earth. That is massive. How stoked are you guys for that?
Yeah, insanely stoked. It's our first big tour, and and like I love those bands as well. Like Vildhjärta is one of my favorite bands ever. So it feels like, yeah, I'm super stoked for it.
Nice. Yeah, no, again, like when I saw that, I was zooming in to see if there was like a North American date or something. I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to take too much time of your day. Just like I'll also, just before I finish off, I love to just know like what, you know, some of my favorite musicians are listening to. So like, what are like 3 bands or artists that you guys are listening to that you would love to shout out? Like, it doesn't have to be metal. It could be anything.
Yeah, it's not going to be metal for sure with us.
We
Maybe nah.
Metal.
But I actually listen to a lot of metal, honestly. I'm
You
gonna
just have the blast
open my.
beats.
Yeah, I mean, let's
metal.
think here. Yeah, Jonas, can you go? Are you ready, Jonas?
Yeah. But I listen a lot to Florence Aduni recently. She's a singer from Ghana, and she's
Okay.
like, it's like this high life kind of Kumasi sound.
Florence and who?
Florence Aduni, like
Oh, okay.
ADOONI.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to know any of these references, but I love it.
Yeah, so that's one. What else have I been listening to? I need to check my Spotify because I forget.
Yeah, me too. I'm like scrolling hectically now to kind of figure out what I'm listening to. But
Yeah. While you guys are figuring it out, there's what your music is like. It's like the most metal, non-metal album of the year. It's like one of those like, it's very non-metal, but it's also metal too. And like, it made me think of a different band. I'm not sure if you heard of them, but it's a band that I'm really loving called The Scratch. They're basically, they're an Irish, they're from Ireland, and they're like, yeah, Irish punk metal band. They mix in like traditional Irish music, but with like punky rhythms. Mm-hmm. So like, if you can think of like the Irish like kind of thing to do where they're like in a pub drinking beers, it's like that kind of vibe, but the music is also like very fast and riffy, and it has like these almost like breakdowns, but it's not like 7-string or pitch shifted guitars. Instead it gets into like hand drum rhythms. It's very, very unique. It's very cool. It's like, again, it's very like non-metal metal.
Sounds interesting.
Wow.
Need to check that out.
yeah, but I feel like
you said Irish, right?
Yeah, Irish.
Yeah, cool. That's good.
yeah, well, like looking at like the recent stuff that I've been listening to, it's kind of to me, it's I mean, yesterday I listened to like Devil Driver, if you know. They're like an early.
Yeah, that's
like, yeah, I loved that when I was like 14, 15 years old. So yesterday I was listening to Devil Driver. What else do I have? I have like early Slipknot recordings.
okay.
And like the first Linkin Park record.
Classic, yes.
Another like an amazing gospel record called The Legacy Project by John P. Key. Is another like really amazing gospel record. It's very, very Christian, so some people might not be able to hear that, but I think that it's incredible musicianship and stuff like that. So and also
okay,
what
I'll
else?
cue it
Oh,
up.
Snail Mail.
Yeah, you've been talking about Snail Mail.
Snail Mail is an amazing indie kind of rock thing from the US, which is amazing.
Is it like a woman guitarist, like indie rock?
Exactly. Her name is like Lindsay or something. She's an amazing singer and guitar player, and like really, I love that. So, what else do you got, Jonas? You got that?
I got
guy.
The what?
The guy from Morocco, or where is he from?
Oh yeah, no, he's Belgian. It's called Tamino. It's also one of my biggest influences as of late. He's a Belgian guy with like, he has some Egyptian influences and Lebanese influences, stuff like that. And his, but it's kind of like Radiohead type of style, but influences from that. And he has an insane voice. It's like one of my favorite voices ever, I think. It's incredible.
Okay.
It was funny because like we had like a release show just a couple of days ago, last Friday.
Yeah.
And the promoter or whatever was like, do you like between the sets or before, because we were doing a meet and greet and a signing session too, and they were like, during the when you're not playing, do you want to have like a DJ or do you want to set up your own playlists in the venue? And we were like, we're gonna do our own playlist. So we made like a playlist, and I was laughing so much sometimes because the playlist was all over the place. It was like 90s hip hop, and then it was the crazy Turkish folk music, and then it was, you know, some of the stuff that you added, Jonas, which was probably the stuff that you're talking about now.
Yeah.
What did you add? Like,
I added a Pod XT test song from Bulb.
oh,
like
Bulb, fucking
Bulb?
gent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bulb, like Misha Mansour's.
Misha,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy.
One of my
crazy
favorite
blend.
songs by Misha is the Pod XT test song. It's a test.
XT.
It's a test song that he put up on SoundClick like 20 years ago.
We love the Periphery first record, I must say. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember when I heard that when it came out, and like the walk, and I had an old sound system and a station wagon, and like I had a subwoofer in that, and I just would blast my stereo, and I thought I was so cool with the windows down in this ugly ass station wagon.
Yeah. I mean, that's, you probably need to say that. Like, if we wouldn't have been a band if it wasn't for that record. Like, that's the sort of main thing that glued us together in the beginning to the Periphery One album.
It's funny because like I was listening to some of the EP a little bit, and like I was getting a little bit of those vibes. Like I felt like the prog metal was much more easy to identify back then.
yeah.
Yeah, that EP was really influenced by Periphery, just in general.
Gotcha.
We wanted to make a Periphery EP almost.
Yeah. Well, your music now is so incredibly original. I can see a lot of people in my community are loving it. They're like, I'm loving it. It just feels so different than so much of everything else that I listen to. That's just such a breath of fresh air. Again, like you feel relaxed after listening to it, where like I don't really get that from a lot of metal records, right? So like I'm very stoked for your future. I hope one day you guys come through Canada. That would be amazing if you do, but
Where are you based,
wish
actually?
you Toronto.
Toronto.
I'm Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be sick to play in Toronto.
Yeah, that's a major city.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen eventually, Toronto.
Dude, the Toronto shows also like they love metal. Like it's something about Toronto and Montreal are like the two big cities that like apparently like all the metal bands love when they come through here.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, looking forward to that then.
Yeah, hopefully one day. But guys, thank you so much for your time coming out. I would be shocked if the listeners here have not listened to Karmanjakah Diamond Morning at this point. You listen to this entire podcast, but make sure to check it out. Catch them live if you're in Europe at the Humanity's Last Breath tour with VLJarta and stuff, which is going to be awesome. But anything else that you guys want to add before we sign off?
Nice. Thank you for your time. It's really awesome to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for like all the support you've been giving us these last couple of years. Like it's been meant a lot to us too, that you're sharing our music to people. We're really thankful for that.
Of course, when I hear like original music or something that just stands out, I have to just push it as best as I can.
That's so cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.